DJ General Mills.
So today is unfortunately the 4-month anniversary of the slaying of Breonna Taylor and the 5th year anniversary of the unfortunate death of Sandra Bland. I know if you are on any social media whatsoever, you have either seen or heard these names. I just don't think it's fathomable that you've been on social media and not seen or heard these names. The tag Justice for Breonna Taylor has gotten so big that it's starting to become a parody, and that's not a good thing. But that's just how big the scale of things are. I don't think a lot of people know exactly what's happened. I don't think a lot of people know exactly what the issue is. So I just kind of wanted to come on here and just to talk about the actual situation. So for Breonna Taylor was a 26-year-old EMT. And so she worked for the, I think it's Louisville, Kentucky, state as an EMT. And she was unfortunately shot and killed in her own house by police. Now, let me break this down to you. So there was apparently a warrant, and I'm reading on this. There was apparently a warrant for 2 actual people, Jamarcus Glover and Adrian Walker. There was a warrant, I'm assuming, for a drug arrest, from what I'm seeing. And that warrant was exercised by 3 plainclothes officers from the Louisville Metro Police Department. The issue with that warrant is that warrant was for a house, another house over 10 miles away. That was nowhere near where Breonna Taylor was sleeping. When that warrant was executed, 3 plainclothes officers walked into Breonna Taylor's house. They broke into her house, and she was sleeping. I don't know if this was in the middle of the night. I'm trying to see if there's a time associated with this. I don't actually see a time, but it was a no-knock warrant, which means that they burst in, they didn't knock, and immediately following that, Breonna Taylor's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, fired the first shot. And he was just defending himself. Now, he had a weapon that was legally his, and he was legally defending his home. And he was doing the right thing, absolutely 100%. And when he fired his shot, defending his own house, the officers, 3 police officers, Jonathan Mattingly, Brett Hankinson, and Miles Cosgrove, fired back at him. And over 20 shots were shot off. There was an exchange of gunfire, but yes, it looks like close to 30. The LMPD fired 20 shots. Taylor, the LMPD fired over 20 shots. Looks like Kenneth Walker, the Breonna Taylor's boyfriend, fired a multitude of shots as well, just defending himself. In this hail of gunfire, Breonna Taylor was shot 8 times. Now, I want you to understand why this is so serious. Breonna Taylor is an EMT, which is an emergency medical technician. She's the person in the ambulance when there's somebody who's down, somebody who's hurt. When you call 911 for the ambulance, she's the person who arrives. She was 26 years old. She was in her own house, and she was asleep. What I don't understand is for LMPD to execute a no-knock warrant, how they could choose the wrong house 10 miles away, over 10 miles away. The only difference, or I guess the only thing where it's all in common, is just that the actual targets of the warrant, Jamarcus Glover and Adrian Walker, shares the same last name as Breonna Taylor's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker. That's it. That's the only coincidence. There is absolutely no reason for them to have ever made that type of mistake. That's a horrible mistake to make. Somebody has passed away due to that. It's such a sad story because there's still been no justice for Breonna Taylor. There's still been no justice for the PTSD that Kenneth Walker now has to go through. He's lost his girlfriend. He's also been a victim of break-in and entering. The family of Breonna Taylor, who put their trust into the system, was let down, and now they're grieving over their daughter, their granddaughter, their niece, their cousin, because LMPD did a horrible job at executing this search warrant. Once again, the three officers, Jonathan Mattingly, Brett Hankinson, and Miles Cosgrove, who executed this warrant, should absolutely be under arrest and in jail. One of the officers is in jail as of right now. I'm trying to figure out which one. But all three officers, one of them has been with the department since 2000 and became a sergeant in 2009. Another one joined the department in 2003. And then another one just says that he became part of the narcotics division in 2016. All three officers need to be charged. All three officers need to be charged with some form of murder. I don't think manslaughter is adequate in this. I think a capital charge of some sorts of murder, second-degree murder, first-degree murder, because they entered the wrong household. There should have been checks and balances about entering the proper household when it comes to these situations. There should not have been at any point a mistake like this. A young lady is dead, and she was in her own house, sleep under her own covers. I don't know what else, how else you want to look at this. It's just very sad to see that. And it's now been 4 months. In 4 months' time, 40 million people are out of work. In 4 months' time, 80% of the country has shut down and started to reopen. In 4 months' time, there have been multiple deaths and multiple births of people. And unfortunately, the family of Breonna Taylor can no longer grieve privately. This is a thing where for 4 months, this has been thrown in their face. If you lose somebody, you normally want to grieve privately. They can't. It's all over social media. It's all over Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. It's everywhere. It's legitimately everywhere. And it's unfortunate. So, rest in peace to Breonna Taylor. But more importantly than that, we need these three officers arrested and charged. Jonathan Mattingly, Brett Hankinson, Miles Cosgrove. We need all three of them charged. Like I said, one of them was fired, but that means nothing. When you serve a no-knock warrant, that means that you believe that somebody in the house is a threat, and you believe somebody in that house is who you're going after. The people in that house were not a threat. They were defending themselves. They were not even the right people that you were going after. The right people that you were going after were over 10 miles away. 10 miles. 10 miles is a stretch. Think about 10 miles. Drive 10 miles. If you just drive 10 miles, depending on if you're in traffic or not, it takes you 10 to 15 minutes to get there. The house that they're at, 10, 15 minutes away. And I don't understand how you can serve a no-knock warrant and still get away with murder. I just don't understand it. Once again, rest in peace, Breonna Taylor.
DJ General Mills.